If there are no background checks, how do you prevent, I know how you all are going to answer this, but I'm asking anyway. If there are no background checks for gun purchasers, how do you prevent felons or terrorists from walking into, say, a licensed gun dealer and purchasing a gun?
Well, one, if you're not in jail, you should still have your basic rights, and you should go buy a gun.
So if you're a terrorist or a felon?
If you're a felon and you've done your time, you should have your rights.
Well, the fact is we do have statutes, both at the federal and state level, that prohibit classes of people from being in possession of firearms. If you're under 18 in Virginia, you can't walk around with a gun. If you're an illegal immigrant, if you're a convicted felon, if you've been adjudicated insane, these things are already illegal. So what we're really asking about is a question of prior restraint. How can we prevent future crime by identifying bad guys before they do anything bad? And the simple answer is you can't. And particularly under the legal system we have in the United States, there are a lot of Supreme Court opinions that say, no, prior restraint is something that the government does not have the authority to do. Until there is an overt act that allows us to say, that's a bad guy, then you can't punish him.
I would take another outlook on this. First, I'll ask you what crime or what law has ever stopped a crime? Tell me one law that has ever stopped a crime from happening.
Well, some would argue since the Brady Bill was enacted, people who have an opposing point of view, 2 million guns have been kept from the hands of criminals.
But who's to say that person that was denied a background check didn't go out and buy or steal a gun?
Well, perhaps it made it more difficult, and who knows? That's sort of hypothetical.
Okay.
But I think that's a law that kept guns from getting into the hands of people who should not own guns, according to people who support the Brady Bill.
If that were the case, we would have seen a significant reduction in crime with the reduction of sales of guns to people.
Or we would have seen a smaller increase, and that, again, is hard to measure.
I tell people all the time that if you go to Prince George's County, Maryland, it must be the safest place on earth because they have tremendous gun control. But in fact, it's practically the murder capital of the country. It's because people who have who otherwise law-abiding, self-reliant folks are prohibited from being able to defend themselves, and the people who want to kill them are not.
So
like Chicago.
Back to the point
like
that
Chicago.
I was getting to in a roundabout way. If someone wants to commit murder, and even if they are prevented from getting a gun to commit that murder with, it doesn't necessarily stop them from committing the murder. And the murder is already against the law. The tool that they use may change. But if they are bound and determined to break a law, commit murder, commit robbery, break into somebody's house, whatever it is that they're going to do, then the law is not stopping them. It is just giving an avenue to punish them if and when they are caught.
Is it making it, though, potentially more difficult to carry out a crime if it is harder to obtain a gun?
I don't think it is harder to obtain a gun.
Well, let's say they aren't able to buy a gun legally because of a background check, and they have to go somewhere else, or they have to find someone to sell them a gun. Theoretically, is that making it perhaps harder for that person to go and kill someone they're angry at? Could they have changed their mind in the interim? I'm just asking.
I do not think that it would make a difference in the person wanting to commit the crime. Where we have seen it make a difference, and there was a case just recently, there was a woman that wanted to buy a gun because of an ex that was threatening to kill her, and there was a waiting period in the state that she lived in, and she was killed before the end of the waiting period.